Morning, market snipers. Welcome back. This is Jesse. We're getting started right at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, as usual. I hope everyone had a good weekend. Off to another manic Monday. I was going to put that in the title, but I'm like, I don't think anyone who did not grow up in the 80s would know what Manic Mondays or early 90s, whenever that song came out. But my older sister loved that song, and she played it all the time. So yes, I know about Manic Monday by the Bangles. When I was a kid, I always thought she was very good looking, the singer. I was young too, but with that, welcome back. We're gonna get into it. Is Bitcoin bouncing, or are we going straight to new all-time highs? Right? Is Bitcoin bouncing, or are we going straight to all-time highs? It's way too early to call the bottom again, right? So, of course, every single exchange is going to look different. This is the Binance one because it's showing the wick down to 102,000. Just a quick recap. Help me by smashing the like button, hitting the repost button, and throwing a quick emoji or a comment. Helps the algorithms. So help me. In the first half of the live stream, we will cover Bitcoin, altcoins, and stocks. And then the second half of the live stream, if we have enough time, we will cover your chart requests. So let's jump right into it. Bitcoin daily chart from the pivot low over here in April. We talked about it. Yes, it's true. We were bearish in January, February, March, and into April, while pointing out there's bullish divergence here, right? There's bullish divergence from February 26th to March 10th. Then there was additional bullish divergence over here on April 8th. And we pointed that out. So yes, you were bearish the whole year. That's actually incorrect. What is correct is I was bearish January, February, and March, and into April, while calling out bullish divergence, and then posting the chart on April 11th, that there was a buy signal after the bullish divergence, and I laid out the targets to the upside, and then price smashed through the targets and went on to make a new all-time high. So just a little bit of clarification there for you, for the hating reply guys, right? No matter what you post, you got a certain crew of reply guys that just are always negative, or always gotcha moment, or try to be negative or whatever. Not try to be, they're just naturally negative, but it's part of the game. So onward and upward. Anyways, I'm just posting the charts, what I see, and obviously none of this is financial advice. Do your own research. This is for education purposes only. And hopefully have a little bit of fun along the way, making fun of me at the very least when I don't have my mic on for 3 minutes on Friday. And I think the longest we've ever gone is no mic for like at least 20 minutes. That was an amazing move. So here we are, all-time high at 124. Lower low here, confirmed with a lower low. A lower high. I always do this. Still doing videos from like 4 years ago. Still say that incorrectly when I'm going fast. A lower high confirmed with a lower low here. So as of right now, this is a high. This is a lower high. This is a lower low, confirming the lower high as of right now. So that's where we're at. That is where we are at. We have hit 2 targets so far to the downside, nearly hitting the third target on the first wick, coming down again. And so 2 out of 4 targets have been hit. And now we have the indicator showing, of course, that was a sell signal. And price is coming back into the trending dots. So that's where we're at. On the weekly chart, on the Binance weekly chart, we had a weekly sell signal. So keep that in mind. Even if it's flashing a pending buy signal right now, it's below the trending dots. And like I mentioned before on previous streams, the 100% fully automated trading bot, the one of several that are going to be released here in the near future. Once the website's done, visually done, should be like 90, 95, 98% sign up automation as well. Should all be done. I'm just going to do some double checking and, before we go live with it. But like I said, you could put the filter on the automation that this is a sell signal, and then this would not be a buy signal underneath the trending dots. So, but it is confirmed. There was a weekly sell signal on Binance. I think on, okay. So on Bitstamp too. For some reason I was thinking they must have pushed it down at the last hour, because they were the last couple of hours of the weekly candle close on Sunday at 5 p.m. my time, and that's going to change once daylight savings happens. Then it'll be 4 p.m. But it was looking like they were going to push it up high enough to where it wasn't a sell signal, and then they must have pushed it back down. So the market bosses, right? So 108 did have a sell signal on the weekly chart. So at least a local top is in, and price went lower, right? And price went lower. So we'll see. Expect bounces along the way, but I did want to point that out. There was a sell signal on the weekly chart. And it's not how the candle starts, but it's how the candle closes. That's important in my opinion. So if price is bouncing right now, the very beginning of the new week, a lot of times, most of the time, each candle has a wick, right? So if the weekly candle starts up here, creates a wick, but then closes lower, or closes lower the next week, it doesn't matter if it's this week or next week, then it was just a bounce at the end of the day. So let's look at this chart that we've been watching since 123,400-ish Bitcoin. We talked about when price is down here at $110,000, will we see a bounce? And it bounced. We were talking about when price came back down here to 106 closing, it wicked lower, right? This wicked lower, this wicked lower, but the line only shows closes. So when it was closing around 106 here, then I moved this bounce here down to over here. Will it bounce, right? So this is where we're at right now on this crazy chart. So price came down, bounce. After, the squiggly line said come down to about this area roughly. A fractal should never be relied on as that. It's just an idea, but it's eerily similar right now with the move down, the bounce, the move down, the bounce, the move down, the bounce, right? The move down, the bounce. So will it have like a double bounce? Possibly. I mean, I drew that back out on October 8th. I don't expect the fractal to play out exactly the same as pricing, just as these squiggly lines up here did not play out, right? It just came straight down. But overall, the bounce has played out very, very, very eerily similar. So it may bounce for a couple of days, a week, right? Maybe even a week, and maybe even wicks up higher and then closes back below, closes around this area, right? So it could wick higher, just as this pivot here wicked all the way down to 102. Just like this pivot here wicked down all the way to 103,500, right? So these bounces could also wick higher, but then close around this area, right? That's what I'm looking at. And if that happens, and then price starts to take out this pivot point again, the next stop could be target 4, right? Price hasn't hit target 3 yet, so of course we would hit target 3 first, and then target 4, and then see if it bounces, and then we'll see what happens after that. If target 4 does not hold, can confidently say it's not just a local top. There are several reasons why this isn't just a local top, and it could be the top, but there are several reasons why this could be the top, but it was just a local top. So the top is always in hindsight, right? It's always in hindsight. It starts as a local top. So this is at least another local top. So we're going to find out if we start seeing another low put in over here at 106, and you start to get a bigger move down to target 3 and target 4, maybe another bounce. And then if it's breaking back below target 4, and we're coming back all the way down to $76,000 at this pivot, you could probably strongly say at that point that it was, in hindsight, the top. But with the weekly sell signal right now, right around this $110,000, $111,000 range, then the probabilities will continue to stack over time. And by the time it gets all the way down to 76,000, you're probably already calling it anyways. But for sure, like another major milestone is candle closes below 93,000, 92, 91,000, all that stuff. So, woo! If the market top is in, do you think the bottom would come approximately 1 year? Yes. Yes, I do. Except I think it would be another year, and it would be on track for what's happened in the past. However, the one time I think that it would not is and something is different, is what if the stock market went into a longer term bear market? Bitcoin has never experienced that ever. And every time there's like a 20-30% correction in the stock market, Bitcoin does go through its 70-75% correction. So if the stock market went through something like the dot-com bubble era or the 2007-2008 crash, then I would expect Bitcoin to fall further than normal, right? So that's the only time I would say, if we're not going to go through something like that, and it's just another 20-30% smaller bear market for the stock market, then I would expect the normal 1 year at least 60%, because all previous 1 years were 75% or more of a correction. But like I've been saying since 2021, early 2021, that I think it's lesser to the upside and lesser to the downside. And it's been proven that on the downside, it wasn't like an 80 to 90% correction. And then now this top proved it again. If this is the top, it wasn't like a 1,000% or more Bitcoin bull run. And so I wouldn't expect it to be another 75-80% correction. But there's a lot of reasons for it to go back down below $54,000. A lot of reasons to go back down below $45,000, $40,000, like that. So, but if there is a bigger stock market correction, and if it, say dropped 50-60%, and who knows if they'll print a bunch of money to save it again. But if it did that, I would expect Bitcoin to go longer at that point. So, whoo, long-time market sniper, my man. Good. Watch football. Hung out the baby yesterday. Life's good. Life's good. What up? What up, Shooter, by the way? Long time no talk. Woo-wee. All right. So that's what we're looking at. We're still watching the bounce. I pointed out the bounce here when price was starting to, form a wick and then close here. I pointed out the bounce. Same is true over here. After the big wick and it closed here, then I was talking about bounce, right? So it's a bounce until proven otherwise. It's a bounce until proven otherwise. So there we go. Some analysts claim we could see a fast, like a mini bear market target 75. I wouldn't say, everything is possible, but I can take off the banner. Oops, what are we? 16 minutes in, the banner's still on. It doesn't really matter. At least the mic is on. That's all that matters. It's possible a mini bear market to 75,000, but I think it's a low probability. I think it would be a higher probability that going to a deeper bear market if the stock market is also going into a deeper bear market. I think that's even a bigger probability. But, if we're going into a bear market, I would expect, because it's not just Bitcoin, but I would expect, and I could be surprised, but I would expect Bitcoin to retest the 200-week moving average at the very least. And that's at about $54,000. Yes, it's a moving target, but it's a very slow moving target. And at 54,000, I would expect Bitcoin to retest that, just as most of all the other assets have or do. So with that, that would be the least likely, in my opinion. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Is the 200-week moving average is at 54,000, or the SMA. I have the SMA on. Doesn't really matter overall, but you can see $54,103.03 as of right now. So that's what I would expect. And in the past, the bear market has gone 30% below that, even further. So we will see what happens. But for it to come all the way down to $75,000 here, while higher timeframes are bearish, right, and not come down and retest to 200, it's possible. I just don't think that's as high of a probability, in my opinion. So, especially if it's going to be for a year or possibly longer, who knows? But a mini bear market would just be, come all the way back down. Is that even a mini bear market for Bitcoin? I don't know. 40%, 41%. Yeah, it hasn't really seen a 41% drop in a long time. So many stocks have, and even the SP 500 and the NASDAQ got very close to the 200, but didn't test it on the last correction back in March and April. Came all the way back and retested it. Apple did. Apple came all the way back and retested it. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. We're going to try to remain neutral as possible. And this is a bounce until proven otherwise. Still below the trending dots. Like I said, making lower highs and lower lows. And now that all the charts are starting to look similar, right? A sneaky lower high, lower low, still well below the trending dots on the Bitcoin futures chart. 2 out of 4 targets. And interesting that the exchanges wicked down to target 3 but did not hit it, which lines up with Bitcoin futures also not hitting target 3 yet. So we'll see how it plays out. What else? Let's keep going. Ethereum. Still watching the lower highs and lower lows get put in. lower high, and came back up, retested the trailing dots. Is that it? Is that three targets to the downside and now straight up to the moon, or do we still have some more downside? We'll see. The 4-hour chart, that mini head and shoulders crushed the target and then some, came all the way down to target 3. 4-hour chart, right? Is this going to put in another lower high? Maybe. Is that going to be another lower high? Maybe put in the 2, right? So if you look at it on, no. Comes down like this, right? Over the next couple days. Well, this is how it would play out, right? Something like that. So if we're trying to line it up with possible bounce, I've seen that pattern play out several times before, right? Up, down, and then down. So it's possible up, down, right? And then you'll know with the upward trend line like this, as of right now it's like that, but it might break it, right? Break the trend line, readjust it. So anticipating the move in advance. So that's what we're looking at as a possibility. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. As of right now. And this could just be a wick, right? Could just be a wick. So it may take longer to play out too. Like I drew this out that it would take like a couple of weeks. It's very possible it could take a couple of weeks. But this move down has been going a lot faster than the way I had drawn it out. A couple of weeks faster. So we'll see. Again, that's Bitcoin daily chart. Let's look at weekly. Let's look at the 2-week bearish divergence, long term. So another thing about the mini bear market, if the higher time frames are rolling over, I would say that it's going to hit at least $68,000, right? So even then, I'm going to say that 75,000 is not low enough, assuming it goes into a longer term correction. Ooh. Yeah, probably not going to be able to spend 1 hour and 40 minutes this Monday like last Monday. Got a lot of projects to do and a lot of things working in the background. Exciting stuff is about to get rolled out. Like I said, the website's pretty much done, and Visual is just going to double check everything and then start rolling it out probably this week. So I know I said that before, but just want to make sure everything's good to go. Because if you let the toothpaste out of the tub, it's hard to get put back in. As a wise market sniper once said, not me. Not me. So there we go. That's Bitcoin. Covered Ethereum. Had the big sell off on October. This is SP 500. Had the big sell off, bounce, came back down, and now it's back above the trailing dots. So is it going to make new all-time highs? Possibly, right? Possibly. One thing is interesting and to remember is that November 2021, Bitcoin peaked first, and then SP 500 NASDAQ all peaked later. And so it was kind of the canary in the coal mine for the NASDAQ SP 500. MicroStrategy is the canary in the coal mine for Bitcoin. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if that continues to be true. But that's kind of the line in the sand. You could actually draw it better here. But remember, this is bearish divergence. A lower high is the higher probability. That was not a lower high. So any candle closes below 6,800 is going to be a lower high. So if it starts closing back above, it's not a lower high. It's pretty simple, but I'm sure there'll be plenty of I gotcha guys. And if it does take out this wick here at 68.15, these targets are no longer valid. So it's not very far off. If it goes higher than 6,815, those targets are no longer valid. To the downside. All go. Broke down. Came back in. Broke down. Put in a lower low. Now it's back testing and didn't hit this target to the downside. So we'll see if it does or not. But that's what we're watching over there. Is the bottom in? Maybe. But it's too early to call it. XRP back into the trending dots. Another one that broke all the way down. Just got crushed down to $1.30, $1.39. Back into the trending dots. So a lot of the all the altcoins are looking similar. So still below trending dots. Chainlink spiked above for a second. We'll see if it closes below it or above it. So we'll keep an eye on it. Near, Cardano, all below the trending dots. Ondo, HBAR, QNT, XLM. You get the point. Market cap. Coinbase. Solana. That's about it. Fetch.ai still really bearish since the new all-time high was made in March 2024. Gold still ultra bullish, right? Still ultra bullish. We talked about this on the live stream Friday, and many people on Twitter X were quick to call the top. They're being very, 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 very hopeful that this is the gold top and that Bitcoin was going to start making its move based off of all of that. And there was that whole gold dumping in August 2020 chart, and then Bitcoin went on to rally for not rally. It's bull run, right? And what I said was, I kept seeing the posts, people kept asking about it. And so I replied on it. Let's see if I can find it real quickly. Comparing a weekly chart fractal to a daily chart fractal is one of the worst comparisons I've seen since 21. Bitcoin had a weekly buy signal April 2020 and no sell signal until May 2021. It was already in a bull run based off the weekly chart. The gold fractal shows a weekly chart that was going through its correction August 2020, but Bitcoin had already made its move for like 4 months, right? And then they're comparing it to the gold Bitcoin daily chart today. Fast forward to now, BTC is pending sell after a 2.5-year run. So I'm referring to the weekly chart. So the weekly chart while I'm here. It was flashing a sell signal, and then it had a sell signal just now. So looks completely different, right? Gold is overbought multiple time frames, but can remain. So no longer, but can remain much longer than we think. Oh wow! All right. Well, that I should double check my trade each chart individually first and foremost. Okay. Don't forget the canary in the coal mine, which is bear market, a much better comparison. So that was in response to this chart right here, right? So again, this is the first thing I look at. They're pointing out, and by the way, Chad Fi, you should always give chart credit. I think that's not very. I don't think that's a good thing at all. I think that's terrible, actually. You should always give chart credit. So whoever this is, I don't know who it is, but something Alex Wasey created. You're not even giving chart credit. I think it's pretty bad. I'd probably block you if you were sharing my charts and not giving me credit for it. So anyways, weekly chart, even if you're a market sniper or not, right? You should always give people credit if you're taking their charts or share their posts, right? So weekly chart on gold topped and then showing BTC 2020. But the weekly buy signal was back here in April. Way back here, right? On a weekly chart. This is a daily chart. So now you're comparing to the daily chart on Bitcoin. I think it's a terrible comparison. If you're gonna compare, go like for like. Go weekly chart for weekly chart. Go daily chart for daily chart. Back in the end of 2021, early 2022 era, all those guys, right? All those guys are doing the same thing. They're actually taking the gold. What's hilarious is they're taking the gold monthly chart fractals and trying to put it with Bitcoin daily fractals or weekly fractals. And we saw how that turned out, right? They're trying to show that, Bitcoin is going to go to $1 million, right? So anyways, this is the weekly chart versus a daily chart comparison. I think it's terrible. And it doesn't even line up because the April weekly chart had a buy signal and did not have a sell signal until May of 2021. We just had a weekly sell signal. So if you're comparing the weekly chart to the weekly chart, we just had after this entire run for 2023, 2024, right? 2023, 2024 run is a terrible comparison. And that's what I said. This chart comparison is a flashback. In my opinion, is not a good comparison. August 2020, the bull run is just starting versus October 25 when the bull run is at its end. Clue, compare the higher time frame RSI weekly chart trending up, trending down, blah, 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 blah. Also, you didn't give chart credit. Okay. Not really. Is that the full name anyways? I don't know. I don't even know who that is. So there you go. Completely different. Gold weekly is ultra bullish and can remain that way, right? So this move from here, this is based off the monthly chart and higher, continues to be ultra bullish as of right now. Monthly chart remains on fire. Is this the top wick? I don't know. Way too early to call it. Way too early to call it. They're calling it here. They're calling it on Friday. So just keep that in mind that they called the top there. So we'll see what happens. Is that the top wick? Maybe. But We'll see if that closes as the highest candle close of all time, right? Silver, still above the trending dots. Bearish engulfing candle, at least retest the trending dots, most likely. So we'll see if it is or not. But still, that chart comparison's one of the worst I've seen in a long time, in my opinion. So there you go. Take that for what it is. Just my own personal thoughts. Apple making new all-time highs. New all-time highs. So mom sold. And she's not back in it. So, but I guess she's going to miss out on Apple gains over here. So mom sold here 32 minutes before. Then there's a sell signal. Then it started to flip back around and then gapped above. So mom is not in Apple anymore. But, you know, she made money on it. So who cares? She can just go find something else. It's not the end of the world. Teladoc. Come on. Go hit target 3. Stop playing games, Teladoc. Go hit target 3. PayPal. See Hive. Bitfarm. Marathon Digital. Back above the trending dots. Weekly chart. Right? What else? CLSK. CLSK. Litecoin got crushed. Gap down. TLT still bullish on the daily chart. TLT still bullish on the weekly chart. Like I've been talking about for a while, that this could be the bottom. This could be the higher low, and seems like at least go retest the 200-week moving average. When, we don't know. If you look at the kind of the maybe sometime in February, I don't know. You would think it would go before that, but maybe it spikes up before February, comes back down, and then we'll see what happens after that, right? So not expecting this to go to the moon by tomorrow, but seems like TLT could be, the bottom could be in, and at least retest the 200. If it retests 200 and gets rejected, you know, maybe comes all the way back down here, maybe even drops below it. We don't know, but it seems like it's drawing into the 200-week moving average. Trending dots are upward trending on the weekly chart. It's bullish on the 2-week chart. It's not bullish on the monthly chart yet, but could be in the near future. Could get a candle close back above the trending dots on TLT. There's a RSI buy signal way back here on the monthly chart. So we'll see what happens. What else? We're already at 40. Do we have any requests? Yeah, we got a couple of requests. VSN, Vision, Token Chart, PAXG. Boom, 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 boom. So there we go. Boom, boom. VSN. Boom, boom, boom. VSN crypto. Kraken. So I'm assuming you want to see it on the Euro chart, since you mentioned. Yeah, I guess so. So this is the daily chart. Yeah, there's not going to be much chart history. It is getting back above the trending dots, but it's got some work to do. and it lines up with there is a RSI buy signal on the daily chart. There you go. Let's see. There we go. That's pretty much all I got. There's just not a lot of chart history to cover that, right? And the weekly trending dots, this, maybe there's a better exchange, but maybe not, are all the way up at 12.5 cents. But again, trending downward. So what was it? 12.5 cents. I mean, it hit 12.5 cents on that wick. So maybe there's a retracement. If it's going to break out and at least get like a bounce, could be like target 1, target 2, target 3, target 4. This is just the eyeball test. It's possible it could hit some targets to the upside. But there's a lot of caution to it. A, there's not a lot of chart history, and B, the weekly time frames don't look great because there's not a lot of chart history. So there you go. Let's see what else. PXG. Let's see. I think that's under crypto, right? Yeah, if you guys aren't telling me which exchange and all that, I might be getting the wrong one that doesn't have as much chart history. So if you're looking at a specific exchange, always tell me exactly what you're looking at so I can chart what you're looking at, right? But yeah, I mean, it's looking similar to gold. So this is so it lines up similarly, right? That's an ugly looking candle, but doesn't mean the top is in yet. We'll see. Still ultra bullish, but there is bearish. Even the indicator is picking up bearish divergence. So the lower high is a higher probability. So there you go. Bearish divergence, a lower high is a higher probability. So there's no lower high as of yet. Weekly chart, keeping in mind that, looking for signs on a daily chart when that top is in, right? Very similar to back here in this wick, and then price just kept going. So it just depends what your strategy is. What are you looking to do, right? Are you on the daily chart? Are you on the weekly chart like this? Are you on the 2-week chart, right? So it's all ultra bullish as of right now. So taking profits never a bad thing, but I wouldn't be shorting this, right? I wouldn't be shorting this. What else? Yep, you got it. Looks like that's all the requests for now. You may be right that the top is in, but you've multiple wrong top calls throughout the year. And funny, you blocked me for posting your. If you got blocked, you probably deserved it. And so that's hilarious that you got blocked on X and you went out of your way to go onto YouTube to comment all this. Dang, that's hilarious. You went out of your way to go on a whole nother platform just to tell me that. Dang. Sometimes you just got to look at yourself in the mirror. Like, what are you really doing? You go out of your way to try to prove me wrong on one platform. And then if you get blocked, you go out of your way to go on an entirely different platform to tell me that. That is, well, you got your 5 seconds. Here you go. So that is hilarious. That is hilarious. So good luck to you. Adios. But with that, I think we're going to keep it a little bit shorter today. We're going to try to keep it under an hour. We're right at 46 minutes. And got the chart requests in. Let's see. Anything else jumps out at us? What's MSTR doing? Weekly chart. Oh, that's a 2-week chart. 2-week chart is still bearish. Weekly chart is still bearish. Daily chart is still bearish under the trending dots. What is there we go. The Adam and Eve double top pattern, right? Is this still the canary in the coal mine? The top was in November 2024. And it's been in a bear market ever since. By all definitions in the stock market, more than 20%, many consider it a bear market. Over 6 months, many consider it a bear market in the stock market, like stocks. And it's been nearly a year, 50 weeks, right? 350 days, roughly. And it's down 45%. So regardless of what your bias is, MicroStrategy, oh wait, hold on. It's less than 50 weeks. Okay, let me make sure I get that right. Oh gosh. We got the Michaels out there. 48 weeks. I apologize. 48 weeks. And there we are. And if you go from wick to current price right now, right? Let's get this exact. Just because of the Michaels. Oh my God. There we go. So 45% over 48 weeks. So not quite a full year. Like still got a month to go. But 2 definitions all rolled into one. Stock market, aka stocks, drop, are bearish more than 20%. Check. Has not made new all-time highs or in the last 6 months. I forget the exact because I don't really pay too much attention to it. I just talk about it. But over a year, it's still down 45%. And it dropped 57%. So multiple reasons you can call this a bear market. And in hindsight, the top was in, right? And it had a nice rally. So it came all the way down, rallied, bounced, but never made a new all-time high. And then the Adam and Eve top, right? Longer term top, would say that price is going all the way back down to 200-week moving average. It breaches 254 and you get closes below this pivot point over here. The probabilities really increases over here if you get candle closes below 253, right? That price is going to go hit the 200-week moving average down here at 138. So we'll see how it plays out. What else? Oh, what are the hodls doing over here? Hodl. Did I miss it? There we go. There's the hodls, right? This gap is closed, right? This would be the next gap. It did not get closed on Friday, October 17th. So there we are. A lot of gaps below. Older. A lot of gaps. What else? That's hodl. All right. Well, we made it about 50 minutes, so I think we're going to call it. I don't see anything else jumping out at us. Dollar. Right. Still only hit one target so far, but those targets are still valid. If the dollar takes out this pivot point at 95.865 roughly, depending on where it's at, then those targets would be invalidated. Right now, they're still valid, in my opinion. So that's the DXY. Yeah, I think that's about it. With that, oh, what are we doing? What are we doing? Well, not much. Okay. Woo-wee. We'll be on here back again tomorrow, Taco Tuesday. So with that, hope everyone has a good rest of your day. Make it through the Manic Monday, and we will see you on the next live stream. Thanks again for smashing the like button, hitting the repost button, and sharing this with family and friends. And we will see you on the next one. Adios.